Hi, everybody. So this is the last event of the first 2 weekends of the Spring Rights Literary Festival. We are immediately starting other events. There's actually a workshop on Thursday, a writing workshop. And if you look at springrights.org, you'll find some other community events that we folded into the Spring Rights umbrella. So please check that out. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Robin Schwartz. I'm the Community Arts Partnerships Program and Grant Director, and Spring Rights is a program of the Community Arts Partnership. By the way, I will put the link to springrights.org in the chat. All events that have happened through today, including this event, have been taped. And the events will be up at springrights.org. What do you think, Mickey, in about a week or so? And when that happens, I will email all participants to say the videos are there now. And then you can watch all the events that you missed. Some housekeeping throughout this event. Stay on mute. And you guys are going to do a Q&A afterwards, right? And do you want to do the Q&A in the chat?
We're actually happy to do it both, to play it by ear. So if people want to call out, that's great. They can use the hand raise, or, you know, maybe it works just great for people to just talk. We can try that.
And during the event, I just love it when people put comments in chat, especially since almost all of us have our video off and we're on mute. It's through the chat that we can all see that people are engaged and have comments or have joy, or it's just a great way to interact. So I encourage you to put stuff in the chat. I want to thank our wonderful Spring Rights sponsors, Ithaca College, Wegmans, M&T Bank, CFCU Community Credit Union, the Odyssey Bookstore, and the Ithaca Marriott. We also receive support from New York State Council on the Arts. And the organization Poets and Writers helps us pay our participating writers. Although this festival is free, all of our programs are free, we always ask for donations for our events. So if you feel moved to donate any amount, I'm going to put the link up in Spring Rights in the chat. So does before I start, does Storyhouse Ithaca have a donate page on your website?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Check back. Or if you'd like to feel moved to donate to Storyhouse Ithaca, you can email me and I'll send you their way.
There could be storytelling busking on the Commons.
Yeah. Our executive director went outside once with his ukulele to see if he could get some donations. He did. I am now going to turn this event over to both Lesley Greene and Jonathan Miller.
There we are. If everyone sees what we see, then we're all set, right? Two of us. I am Jonathan Miller. You may call me John. And it's great to be here tonight. Thanks a lot, Robin. Thanks a lot to CAP for helping us organize this and providing a platform. I'm just going to briefly introduce myself. Lesley will introduce herself and then tell you what we're up for this hour. I am a journalist by trade, and I've spent most of my career doing international reporting for magazines, newspapers, and a lot for public radio. I moved to Ithaca in 2001. I have been on some boards, the Light and Winter Festival of Science and Art, and currently I'm the board chair of Ithaca City of Asylum, which provides refuge in Ithaca for writers who are persecuted and have had to flee their home countries. And I am going to pass it over to Lesley.
Okay, cool. I'm Lesley Greene. I'm a theater producer, sound designer and composer, co-founder of Porch Fest, and lately a bit of a filmmaker too. And I just wanted to say that also helping out with the technical side of things, we've got the mighty Mickey Quinn, who's working here on behalf of Spring Rights, but is also a Storyhouse Ithaca planner and collaborator. And you're going to even see some of her work today. So Storyhouse Ithaca is a new organization. And so in addition to talking about Pandemic Dreams, our community video project, we're also carving out some time to talk about Storyhouse Ithaca itself. So the way this hour will work is we'll first learn about pandemic dreams and watch some clips, and then talk about Story House, what the idea is, what we've done so far, what's coming up, and how you can get involved if you wish. So, pandemic dreams. So you'll learn that Story House Ithaca is all about community members sharing stories. So for the first event that we produced during a pandemic, we decided to host a community-wide video project where people shared their visions of life after the pandemic. And by the way, a huge thank you to the Community Arts Partnership for the SOS grant we received. Thank you, Robin, because that covered a lot of the expenses. So we put out a call for short videos told from the perspective of an imagined future with no pandemic. And we got really, really wonderful, varied submissions. We showed all of them at a Zoom event on April 21st with breakout sessions where participants could talk about their own pandemic dreams and also respond to the videos that they saw. Comedian Kenneth McLaurin and I co-hosted the event. And again, we had the mighty Mickey Quinn working the technical magic. So tonight we have less time, so we're only going to give you a sampling of those videos. And we're going to start with mine. I pictured, and I wasn't the only one, you'll even see, but I pictured that after the pandemic, that there'd be a renaissance in the arts like the one that followed the 1917 pandemic. And I enlisted friends from around the world to be part of a supposed post-pandemic dance craze. So Mickey, if you would show that first video.
Good morning, class. Today we will be learning about the period of time that followed the COVID-19 pandemic, what we now refer to as the worldwide Renaissance. This was a time of flowering of the arts and the sciences. Among the many dance forms that emerged in this time, perhaps the most popular was the mask-off, a dance that originated in my hometown of Ithaca, New York. I assure you that all of your parents danced this as young people, and I may have dabbled in it myself. Here I have for you some real footage of the dance using the old 2D film technology. Take a look.
So yeah, thank you. I see applause. It's sweet, and some of the people in that video are on this call, which is fun too. Okay, so next we got a few submissions from kids, and that's what we're going to show next. John and I went to the Southside Community Center and we interviewed kids there who are part of Village at Ithaca's Village School, where they receive all-day academic and mentoring support. The next video contains clips of the next clip has 2 Village School submissions, plus 10-year-old Ian Fromme, who is here on this call and will tell us a little bit about his video afterwards. And let me just say, watch closely because his goes by fast. So.
I've always lived by, with great power comes great responsibility. And I believe that with the power to help others, I should be helping others. And the pandemic isn't an excuse anymore, so I'm going to be helping people. Honestly, the pandemic was really bad, and a lot of bad things happened, but what's worse is that humanity forgot their humane side. And for that, often people would be struggling, and everybody would just look and stare like they were some monster or something. And now that the pandemic's over, I'm gonna be able to help more people. It's crazy that I do more stuff like cleaning stuff at Loaves and Fishes than at my own house, but I enjoy doing it. I'm happy to do it because a few months ago I wasn't even allowed to step foot in the building to volunteer, so I'm happy. And the best part is seeing all of my friends that I've made through volunteering, and working with them, and then seeing them out and saying, see you Tuesday, see you Thursday. It's good to know that I have friends working with me, I guess, even if they're older.
We thought we were in the clear of wearing these masks, but now we are still wearing masks.
After the pandemic got worse, there's been a zombie apocalypse, and now we all have to run and hide because the outbreak is contagious to everyone now.
School is limited to only a few people, and you have to be tested every time to see if you are not infected.
Mostly everyone's infected now, so supplies is running low, and we need to get more supplies for everyone.
We have not found any survivors to explain to us what is happening, and we are scared.
We are thinking of going to another city or state to see if there's any survivors there, or if it's even gotten there, and we'll see.
If there isn't, we're going to contact the government and ask if they can send reinforcements to help us and send supplies for us.
Right now, we are on the search of looking for water because we are all thirsty.
The food supply is also very low, and every store has been broken into, and there's no food there.
If you see this, please contact us and help us. We need your help.
Yeah, there's a zombie.
Have you heard? The global pandemic.
Yes! Your breath smells so bad. Oh.
So there's our youth batch. And maybe it's clear, but like the videos, were done really in the thick of the pandemic. So I don't know, maybe Antonio is now working at Village at Ithaca, but that was when he absolutely couldn't be. So the next batch includes videos by Nathaniel Posner, who's brand new to Ithaca. I don't know if he's here with us. Mickey Quinn, who is definitely here with us, and Peaches Gillette, who is here and will talk afterwards as well. So on to the next.
good? Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay. What are we here talking about? Oh yeah, 5 years later. Can you believe it's already been 5 years since we've opened back up? I know. Time flies when you're having fun. Where do you want to start? Okay. I'm the Mighty Mickey Quinn. I'm an event producer, MC, and tonight I'm putting on our weekly drag and burlesque show here at the Cauldron Cabaret in the middle of the Haunt Entertainment Complex. Yeah. Oh yes, this space opened up 2 years ago. It's gorgeous. Of course, I'm, particular to our cabaret space. Hold on 1 second, sorry. What's that? No, the flowers go into dressing room 1 for Tilia. Yes, of course. No, the cheese and charcuterie, that's just in the green room for everybody. Yes, with the champagne. Put an extra bottle of champagne in Athena's dressing room. Okay, good. Oh, wait. When you see the aerialists, can you ask them if they're doing the silks or they're doing the trapeze tonight? Oh, they're doing the moon thing. Yes, okay. Please go have them check their lines. Yes, safety first. Okay, great, thank you. Oh my goodness. So, tonight's show is going to be amazing. What's different? I'd say the biggest difference in live performance is that we don't have to pull arms and legs to get people to show up. I know. Everyone's so thankful that that music and theater and live performance has returned, that everyone is showing up, everyone is supporting the arts, the grants are pouring in. Yeah, it's space. I mean, we've had so many international touring performers as part of our show. Yeah, the main space here at the Haunt, I mean, it's already epically legendary. Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. I'm sorry. Remember when you had to say, like, not COVID? But I need a drink. I know, the vaccine side effects. Yeah, they have not gotten old, let me tell you. What are your powers? Oh my goodness. Oh my god, that's so cool. Pfizer? Yeah, Moderna. Yeah. Okay, what else do you want to know?
I have to share this with you, and trust me, you're going to find this very hard to believe. I filled out 2 applications this weekend, one for a car loan and one for an apartment. At the bottom of each of them, it said, my approval was strictly based on my credit score and the type of vaccination I received. Do you believe that? The type of vaccination I received. We are in trouble. This is a new form of discrimination. I'm going to a protest this weekend. Please come. Bring your signs and bring your voices.
Oh, scary. So we have Peaches here. I would love, would you introduce yourself, please? And then I'd love to know how this came to you.
Oh, yes. My name is Peaches Gillette, and I do race relations work up in Ithaca. And I'm a chaplain, a prison chaplain, and that's what I do. And I'm a retired teacher. And so before I was vaccinated, and just when the vaccine was first coming out, I kept hearing everybody asking one another which vaccine they had. And I kept thinking, I couldn't figure out why. I was like, what difference does it make what vaccine you had? And I thought, and so when I compared it to, like, when people ask you, like, how much money you make and what job you do and things like that, in the back of their minds, they're kind of like leveling you up in a way. So I thought, oh, that'll be the new way people level other people up, is by seeing what vaccine they had. And so I thought, okay, this is going to be a whole new world of discrimination. We're very competitive culture. We're always kind of like sizing up people and seeing where we might stand in relation to where they stand. And I thought, oh yeah, we'll use this one too to find a way to discriminate against people. And that's how I came to put this together. It was either that or an apocalypse video like the kids.
You're not all about the rosy future.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was fun. It was fun. I thought, yep, that's the cynical side of me coming out. Yeah.
It's good. I liked it that people, like some people had like super rosy views and then other people not so much. And,
yeah.
And chances are there's going to be a mix.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What do you think that particular vision is likely to?
I actually do. I really believe that it will, certainly it'll happen in small measures and small groupings that people feel, because I already heard someone say, well, this one lasts longer, or, if you get this one, you don't have to have the second one. Or if so I've already heard people going, well, I think mine might be better covered than you are, like kind of thing. And I'm thinking like, oh, for God's sake, stop already.
Yes.
Like we don't have enough elements of discrimination in our society, stop. So I do think that it will become true. You'll start hearing whispers of it, or whispering behind your back, she didn't get the one. So.
Oh, and I haven't said that, Peaches, that you've been part of the like planning,
Yeah, I've been ill for a while, so I haven't been engaged as much as I want, but I really like the idea. John and I met when I was at a rally one time, and I'm a poet, so I was reading some poetry, and so I was really excited about the whole prospect of this thing coming to life. And so far, I love what's being done. I love it.
Great. Yeah, we're looking forward to having more of you in it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
cool.
I'm looking forward to diving back in.
Cool. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Mickey, would you talk about your video? Put you on the other side of the something. The light.
Hi. When this idea came up, I was rifling through some ideas in my head, and I had been thinking just about what reopening in the arts would be like, and I was just like, what's my wish list when I tell people when they're all chomping at the bit ready to come out, like what types of things, like don't call me 10 minutes before the show to see if you can get on the list, just general etiquette things. But it sort of took that idea away from it. And I was like, well, what's really like the dream future for the arts? And having a beautiful space for alternative entertainment, things that aren't, big music shows. And I was like, all right, well, what does that look like? And I'm like, well, of course, there's dressing rooms and a beautiful green room, and all of the artists can really feel special and taken care of. And then of course there's rigging, so that way we can have circus arts there, because that's been my dream for all of my shows. And talk to Amy often, and it's like one day we're going to be able to do things together. And then of course the support for the arts. So people will be so excited when we open back up that there will be lines for the tickets, and the grants pouring in. And so just sort of imagined a perfect future that also included superpowers.
I love it. And it was definitely like very aligned with my vision too. The arts totally flourish because people realize what they are missing.
Right. It's like, what are we living for if we're not, celebrating all the voices?
Yes. Anything else you want to like add about how you did it, or how or why?
I did it with my computer, and I sat here and talked to myself, and that was me interviewing myself. And it was really fun to set up. I have these little USB disco lights, and I set up some of those, and I set up an extra monitor to like do that strobe light on me. And then I had, another, like a little speaker doing some of like that muffled background sound. So there was a little bit of there, like while I was talking. So I'm like, I feel like I'm in a club.
It felt very real. It was good.
So that was the magic behind the video.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cool. So now I think we're ready for the last clip that we're going to show. And that was made by Scott Hitz. Some of you may know him, a puppeteer whose work has been seen around the world, but who happens happily to live in Ithaca. And he's another member of the organizing team for Story House Ithaca. So check it out.
Like trees asleep against the sky, the air is cold and dry. Surrender to the spring. A long December in your veins. Deny the seasons change. Your winters following. Cast aside the starry sky, you'll find that beauty rise on the breath of one who's gone. Follow the sun. And you're scared and it hurts, but not living is worse than the thought. Fever in a prayer, a gift to be laid bare. It's the perfect plea. Love casts a shadow in the night. The flame is burning bright. There for you and me. There for like a Lenten rose, love remembering. That there is hope hidden away, awaiting summer's day, away from winter's sting. And
So I didn't tell you we were going to make you cry. Isn't that beautiful?
Beautiful.
And Scott is here with us too. Thank you, Scott, so much. And he's been a really great part of Storyhouse planning as well. So we are going to move now. But I want to say something important, which is that you can see all the submissions, because this was just a subset, and I'm posting them hopefully to the whole group right now. Everyone. So here's the link to the playlist with all the Pandemic Dreams videos. So see them all, because they're really, really wonderful. And now let me turn it over to John, who's going to talk about Storyhouse.
Yeah, that is so wonderful to see those again. Just one quick thought about that particular project, which is sort of our first elaborated project that we undertook as a group, the Pandemic Dreams thing, is that you just send a question out to the community and say, it was a kind of a confusing prompt in a way, like picture yourself in the future and thinking back, and what's your dream, but it's not from now, it's from later. Anyway, we sent it out, and people just came back with their talent, with their visions of, with their time, their love, it's just such a sweet thing to see the community respond in that way, sending stuff in with a minimal prompt. I would like to just quickly talk about the idea behind House Ithaca, and a little bit of why we're talking about it right now, and then I'm going to hand it back to Lesley, and she'll talk a little bit more about the mechanics of what we're doing right now to try to get this going, get it started. But Mickey, would you put up the first slide, please? Once upon a time, I found myself in Rotterdam, the Netherlands, at a big meeting, at a human rights meeting. And one of the co-hosts was this outfit called Verhalenhuis Belvedere. And it's in a port district. There's water, I think, across the street. And Verhalenhuis means story house in Dutch. I didn't actually understand what it was about at all. I just went where I was told and showed up, and and walked in, and I guess, Mickey, if you show the next slide, and saw this community space. There's a bar, there's places to eat, and we'll show you a few pictures from the inside, that a group of community activists had started up they'd taken over a derelict building, and I think with public funding, they had put a lot of time and money into renovating it. The idea was to invite the community in. It's not a money-making cafe. It's not a venue. It's this place where things happen, where stories happen. And I found it extraordinarily welcoming the first moment I walked in. So this is a shot of the bar area and the cafe area of this space. Mickey, the next, please. This is a performance, a nighttime performance that was part of the meeting that I was at with, I'm actually not sure how many people fit in here, and but this community arts program puts on something like 180 events per year in this space, all either very low cost or no cost. And they have a bar where they serve wine and beer and tea and coffee, and where people can come and use the industrial kitchen to make meals. So they'll have artists will recruit their friends to produce a meal, which they'll advertise for €7 and invite anyone to come in and share a meal with them. And they'll have some sort of a show or a reading or something. The next photo, please. Back one more, please. The previous, yeah. And so just real quick, this particular space, on the bottom level, you have a cafe and bar and a performance space. One level up is here. There's a lounge with little iPads. And if you can see in the picture, depending how big your screen is, headphones hanging from towel racks where you can come and listen to audio documentaries or watch video documentaries on iPads. And you can have, of course, it's the Netherlands. You can't have a floor without an espresso bar in it. And so you get something to eat as well. I was blown away by this place. I really liked being there. Next slide, please. It turns out there's a similar sort of a place in Pittsburgh called Alphabet City, which is part of City of Asylum program in Pittsburgh, which is sort of a sister program to the Ithaca City of Asylum program. And they have taken over, for one thing, they have Pittsburgh City of Asylum owns 7 small houses that they make available to refugee writers and artists. But also they've got this corner spot, which used to be a Masonic temple, I believe. And it's got 3 storefronts in it. And you can see it's called Alphabet City, but they brand themselves City of Asylum as well. Next, please, Nikki. This is looking, the 3 storefronts are a restaurant, a performance space, and a bookstore. And this is looking from the restaurant across the performance space to the bookstore. There's a stage to the left. And it's a comfy place to come and hang out during the day. And every 2 nights, 3 nights a week, more, 4 nights a week, they have performances, readings, meetings, film series, things like that in the performance space, which has professional lighting, you can see at the top, and recording and stuff like that. Is there one more photo? Yeah, so here's a performance, a night, evening performance in that space, people looking at the whatever was going on the stage to the left. So I think that's all the photos. But so I came back to the States from the Rotterdam visit and thought, we need one of them. We need one of them in Ithaca. And I could just immediately imagine it. You know, I could imagine hanging out there for one thing. And then I went to Pittsburgh and saw the Pittsburgh program. And it was also just, I mean, these are very ambitious and they put on an incredible number of events per year. But it got me thinking about what we might do here on a smaller scale in a smaller town, and trying not also to step on other organizations' toes. You know, we have a wonderful public library, we have amazing bookstores, we've got places that put stuff on. I started to talk to people when I came back and about what we might do here, and this community process of talking it through has really changed the vision a bit, and it made it better and made it stronger. Really thinking about creating a space for people to come together to share stories. The idea of a story house, story is a thing that we can all, it's easily fungible, it's easily shareable. It's something that we can tell about ourselves or about things we know. It's something that we can hear and something we can learn from. It's how we learn about other people. It's how we learn about ourselves. Stories are how we sort of navigate our way through the world. Stories are also very, potentially very dangerous, as we've learned in the last 4 years. They don't have to be true to be powerful. But we started thinking about fiction, documentary, film, community meetings, storytelling, events, participatory stuff, performance stuff. There's just no limit to the sorts of things you could fit under the rubric of story. The second part of the name Story House is a house, and it doesn't have to be a house. I was inspired, and I think everyone I spoke with in our whole group is sort of inspired by this idea of having a space. But for now, we can pop up wherever. We can do what we're doing right now. We can have do what we did with Pandemic Dreams, and have a house that is more conceptual. And finally, you know, what do we really hope to do? We're not a theater company. We're not people who want to produce stuff for the public to appreciate. We want to create some programming for sure, but we'd also like to collaborate with other organizations, other artists, other other institutions around town. We'd like to connect. Oh, you've got an idea for this. Why don't you work with them? We want to serve as a connector of organizations and as a catalyst for stuff that wouldn't happen. Lots of small organizations, for example, in town that have stories to tell, but don't really, that's not what they really do. Think of a refugee program or a program that works with kids or a foreign language program for new immigrants. Or they're just so many health programs where they've got stories to tell, but we can help. The idea is when we get going that we can help them tell those stories. So we're not about like impressing the pants off people because we're so smart and so clever and so creative, but rather more creating a space where things can happen. And maybe I should shut up there and pass the baton back to Lesley.
Cool. So John's been in conversation with people about Story House ideas, I think ever since he came back from the one in the Netherlands, but it's really gotten off the ground since this past summer 2020. And when I say off the ground, I mean we have a Google group. We're really, what's that?
We've really made it.
We've really made it.
And a website.
So we're really still figuring out what the structure of the organization is going to be. But for now, it's a group of about 24 people on an email list. And we have meetings on various topics like creating programming, building a website, which we did, and we're very happy with it, potentially finding a space, and then also introducing ourselves to potential collaborators and organizers. Some of the groups that we've reached out to so far include Cinemapolis, Village at Ithaca, Odyssey Bookstore, Buffalo Street Books, Autumn Leaves Bookstore, the Tompkins County Public Library, the History Center in Tompkins County, Ithaca City of Asylum, the Lifelong Senior Theater Ensemble, Open Doors English, Southside Community Center, Wharton Studios, Friends of Stewart Park, Downtown Ithaca Alliance, and the Community Arts Partnership. And we're going to continue reaching out because we really want to reach all corners of the community. We have a few projects coming up. On July 4th, we'll be capturing stories about Stewart Park. The park is celebrating its centennial this year, and there's a celebration on July 4th at the park. So if you have a great Stewart Park story, come to that event and find us, and we're going to record videos of people telling their Stewart Park stories. We're also talking with, there's a Nigerian American filmmaker who's new to Ithaca College. She's this past semester, her class worked with Nigerian filmmakers to tell stories, and we're talking with her about how to give those a wider audience, those films. But we're also like so excited by, as we've already said, hosting puppet workshops and performances, doing musical events, pub choirs, storytelling series. And again, as John said, we want to be a producing, but really also very much a presenting organization with events going on all the time. So if you have great ideas for events that could happen under the Story House banner, we really want to hear them. There's a form on our website, and maybe John can, or maybe I will post that link, and where you can submit your ideas. And also, we're really still looking for people who are interested in being part of the creation of this organization. So if that's you, please join us. And if you have an idea, what Story House can bring is we've got technical know-how, we can provide technical support and contacts. We want matchmaking with other organizations, other interested groups. We can serve as host, organizer, matchmaker, producer, whatever is needed to make it happen. That's our idea. So that's the quick overview of where we are now. And we have a few minutes left, which is exciting. And I was told, actually, we don't have to rush off this. So if the conversation really gets going great, I think we can stick around even longer than 7:30. But in any case, we want to do a take any questions that you guys might have.
I just popped up next to you.
There you are.
Lesley.
Yeah.
Yeah, or send a question in the chat and we, or don't. I mean, if we've explained everything
Yeah.
so well. Mickey, how do we know if there's someone who wants to speak? Do you want to raise a hand using the hand raising?
Yes, people can either post a question in the chat and I'll read it out loud, or they can raise their hand, and if they want to actually say their question, I'll call on you.
I see some questions have come through, actually. I see that Amy Reading said, can you talk about your dreams for a space, however wild? John, do you want to take that?
Yeah, we have this kind of bubbling, keep your eyes open for a space process going in parallel with the other stuff we're doing. And I don't think we have a fixed, I mean, I know we don't have a fixed vision for what that space would be. I think there's got to be food in it somehow, and ideally liquid refreshments as well. So, yeah, I saw a wine glass being raised. The space has to be welcoming, and it's sort of tricky because we could create a space that would be, just, I don't know, like the one in Rotterdam, and it might not actually be a place that a lot of people in our community would want to spend time. So I think there's the idea, anyway, specifically the idea of a place where you could get 60 or 70 people in for a performance, a place where you could put a stage and the lighting is decent, where you could have some storage for AV equipment, for mics and amplifiers and speakers and so on, and walkable downtown. I think if downtown Ithaca is the idea at this point. Lesley, anything else? It could be a space that's already occupied by an existing business, and we would go work with them. And it could be a space that is de novo. We're imagining the money pouring in. That hasn't happened yet, so that will also determine it. Anyone else want to say anything about that? Should we ask? Yes, Scott, are you willing to share your process on your film?
Oh, hold on. Yeah.
You're audible.
You can't hear me?
No, can. Yep.
You can. Oh, okay, great. I'm not super comfortable talking about my work, but I'm happy to take questions. If there's a question, I'll answer them. I don't have any secrets.
Okay, I'll ask. How did you come up with the idea for this, to do this?
Oh, honestly, the music kind of did the heavy lifting for me. It started with the music. The song is from a friend of mine in Philadelphia who has a group called Under the Oak, which I really have always loved. And she has the woman in the group has a piece I was planning on doing something with a year or two ago. And that piece unfortunately didn't quite fit this theme when Storyhouse brought up this idea. But I went back and I listened to her album, and I fell in love. The song brought tears to my eyes, and I instantly got images in my head the second I heard it, about in relation to the pandemic. And I was like, oh, that's the one. So she was very gracious in allowing me the use of it.
Nice. Cool.
So Lesley mentioned that we really would love to hear from you. There are a few ways to do that. Scott, I'm sorry, I'm moving on to you in the plural sense. That if you have ideas for programs, we have a little form on the contact sheet. I put a link in the chat. Also, just info@storyhouseithaca.org. If you have a thought, a question, something, just want to get in touch with us. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And we do have this website, which doesn't have a whole lot on it yet, storyhouseithaca.org. But we would love to hear people's thoughts, ideas about any aspect of this.
And there's a sign up for a mailing list on the website as well, so you could just be kept informed of what we're doing. We'd like to tell you. Cool. That might be it. Might be a good time to wrap it up.
I want to tell people about other events, including an Ithaca City of Asylum event that's coming up on
Tuesday at 7.
Tuesday, May 18th, 7 p.m. Odysseys, Ithaca Writers on Exile, Wandering, and Searching for Home. It's a reading sponsored by Ithaca City of Asylum, featuring Ming-Fong Ho, novelist and children's book writer, Kenneth McLean, poet, essayist, author of Color, Essays on Race, Family History, moderated by Edward Hauer. All of these links are at springrights.org, which I will put into the chat. And then, we've got the Cherry Arts Trapdoor walking play listed, and then we've got a whole bunch of workshops starting on May 20th and going right through November. That's all free. It's all Zoom. So I hope you can check that out.
Thank you, Robin. Thanks, Kat, for this whole thing. It's great. Great to be a part of it too.
Thank you. Really grateful for that. All the support.
Mickey.
And Mickey.
Oh,
thanks everyone for coming.
I wanted to say CAP has developed a creative recovery fund, and we're fundraising for it right now. Community Foundation seeded it with $10,000. Yay, Community Foundation. And that will be, I haven't even written the guidelines yet, but I plan to launch it in June. So I will be working on it tomorrow, but it would be something that Storyhouse Ithaca could apply for, as well as Ithaca City of Asylum.
Great.
And it could be individuals, could be organizations. So you're all on my mailing list. So you'll get an announcement about that soon. It's exciting. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Go outside now.